All right, so today we're getting awfully close to beaver season. Well, beaver season opens in PA here in a couple days. Thankfully, I don't know if you can see, but it's snowing, ice, and nasty outside today. So didn't have school, so I'm gonna finish making my rebar drowners for the year. Yeah, beaver's one thing that they say the price looks like it should be holding decent, so I'm gonna hit the beavers pretty hard this year. And the best way to do that is with rebar drowners. So, you know, it's way better to have a drowned beaver than they're not going to chew out. They're not going to, they're going to be dead already when you get there. They're going to be down in the bottom of the river where nobody's going to see them. You don't have to worry about theft as much or anything like that. And drowners are really fairly easy to make. As you can see, I've got my rebar here. That's the first thing you need, obviously, for your rebar drowners is your rebar. And this here is 3/4 inch rebar rather than 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is probably a little better, but I had a bunch of scrap pieces of 3/4 inch laying around, so I'm not going to go buy more if I already have 3/4, and I think it's going to work out all right. It's just going to be a little heavier than what you'd need. So right here I've got a Duke number 3 I just threw on there for demonstration, so I can show you kind of how these things work before I showed you how to make them. I made the whole rebar drowner, I don't think I bought anything. I just used scrap pieces of stuff I had laying around. And what you're going to need is, I don't know if you can see, but here's the top of it. You've got there goes the trap. You've got a stake up here on the top of it, T-bar stake, and I've got a little sliver of pipe there that this slides down through. This is going to hold the top. You're going to drive this down in the mud up on the top of the bank by where you're making your set. Then you're going to shove the bottom end of the rebar right there. You're going to shove that right down to the bottom in at least 3 or 4 feet of water. Then I'm going to set my trap up here. Then once the animal gets caught, it slides right down the rebar, slides down in the water, and you can see how that lock works. It can't come back up once it's slid down there. So these things, they work pretty slick, and they're definitely my favorite way to trap beaver. You can use them. They work great with a caster mount set or a crossover, or really anywhere where the beavers might be coming up on the bank. So I've got stuff to make a dozen of them here. I'm making some for me, and I'm making some for my buddy too. You're allowed to set 8 drowners per person here. So I've got these dozen. We're hopefully going to get a few more, so then together we can set out all 16 and hopefully get a good little catch of beavers this year. But I'll show you the pieces I used for making these. So first, obviously, we've got our rebar. And like I said, this was scrap pieces. And then you want your pieces to be at least 8 foot long, and some of these were like 6. So you can see I took and welded 2 pieces together so I'd make them long enough, and then I ground down the weld so my lock would fit over them there. And so first I'll show you the lock. This is going to be your main part of your beaver drowner here. But all it is, I took a little piece of inch pipe, I think it's inch pipe. It's just some pipe I had laying around, just about an inch long piece of that. So then that will, just any piece that's going to fit over your rebar. I think if you're using 1/2 inch rebar, you'd want maybe like some 3/4 inch pipe, or just whatever's going to fit on your rebar well. Fit there so it can slide. And then I've just got a little piece of band iron on there. So an inch piece of pipe, about a 2-inch piece of band iron. I welded that right on there, and I bent it up at maybe like a 45-degree angle, and then drilled a little hole there so I could attach my trap using, what I had was these split rings, or you can use, I don't know what they're called. Any little fastener, J-hooks, however you want to anchor your trap on there. But I like those split rings, so then I can take my trap on and off whenever I want. So you're going to need your rebar, your drowner locks. Then to hold my T-bar stake onto my piece of rebar, I just took a little slice out of the same size pipe I used for my locks. Just took a little slice out of it, and then welded it onto that rebar. Then for the bottom stopper, to make sure, this is so your trap doesn't slide off the bottom and it'll hold in the mud better, I just used a little piece of the same band iron I use on my locks down on the bottom. So, you can see that's pretty simple. That's about all you need. And got the rest of my locks over here. These ones, I still need to drill a hole in them and give them a bend. Then I've got little stoppers for the bottom, and then I still need to cut some more pieces of pipe there. But yeah, maybe I'll show you doing that. And you can see these are pretty simple to make and real cheap. I really didn't spend anything on these rebar because I had it just laying around for scrap. Just made everything out of stuff I had laying around. So that's a good way to do it in this fur market where you know, might not be able to make as much as you want to for your fur. You definitely want to be able to make everything you can yourself, so then you don't have to buy as much. And I don't have a ton of tools for making them. I have this little MIG welder here, and then just some angle grinders, and that's about it. And that's about all you need. So yeah, I'll show you getting these locks ready, and then we'll put the rest of these together.